my lovelies, and welcome to today's video. My name's Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. We are doing single scarf looks. So a lot of the time we see these complicated, volumized, layered looks, and I'm very much enjoying doing those as well. But today we're going to really focus on the really fun and simple and still beautiful and effective single scarf looks. Right at the bat, I'm going to show you this beautiful pashmina that I was wearing from the very start of the video. I wanted to really utilize this particular material in this demonstration because it's just so commonly found. I can go to just about any store that sells scarves and find something of a similar fabric or density or color, or it's really quite common. And of course there's online stores as well. A couple that I follow, Rapunzel and Little Tichel Lady, American based. Here in Australia, really simple, Maya, just about any fashion shop. Because our weather is so crazy here, we do a lot of accessories in our everyday stores, or even sites like Shein, lots of accessories, so very easy to find. So just over here, all I've done is I've taken the sort of edge of it there and just tucked it under. Simple as that. I don't have any non-slip headband, I don't have anything special on. I've got my hair in a sort of medium bun at the back there, nothing special. All I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it or cross it over at the back. I've got no knots, I've got no special folds. I didn't bring the scarf to any particular level. All I did was cross it over down the back and really give it a pull. Now, scarves are typically made of fabrics that can take a little bit of a pull or a little bit of abuse. Obviously don't go crazy with it and don't try and rip them or pin them or things like that, but definitely you can give them a bit of a tug and they definitely will survive as much. And all I'm going to do is just tie it a little bit off center. Now, one thing I do need to mention is I did not bother to check whether it was symmetrical or not, because I don't think it really matters. When you're doing a single scarf look, I think the less you pay attention to it, the better it'll turn out. Now I'm just going to pull this where I want it to sit for the sake of comfort, so wearability. So I'm just going to take that thick bit of fold just a little bit off my ear because that was a bit painful. But other than that, just as it happens is good enough. Now, because I was pulling it so taut, I've got this little gathering here. I'm just going to do another knot. Now this could have gone two ways. I could have ended up with two equal tails, or I've got a pretty long one comparing to this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to really have fun with that. I'm just going to clean it up as best I can and tuck this into the back, into that twist. Okay, there it is. Now here's where the fun part goes. I can really bring out the pattern, or in this case the color, in this point of the scarf, and because we've tied it off center and we've tied it twice, we've created a lot of interest there. And so all I can do is just take this, spread it out a little bit, and I've got a few options. I can pull it through this and create a tail. That's one option. Or I can tuck it away, get a turban. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. Or I can do a little kind of point of interest here. Just try and figure out how to twist it. Okay. And I can pull it through here and tuck it away at the back that way. And get that sort of a look. I'll just tuck it away. Now I actually like the idea of tucking it away this way the most, because you can spread it out and show the most colour that way. So I've just spanned it out over my bun, and then we can tuck away underneath. Now remember, I don't have any non-slip headbands or anything, and my hair is actually really super slippery at the moment. I'm not sure why. So there we go. I've got obviously a few little loose little threads, but that's okay. You can obviously take the time and tuck it away a lot more eagerly if you were going out with this look, and I can guarantee it would stay all day. As long as you get that bottom sitting well, it will not go anywhere. So using the very same scarf, I've just folded it a lot deeper. So see, I've got all this folded under there, just to bring out this beautiful lime colour. And again, without really looking at where the tails have ended up, I'm just going to tie a knot at the back this time. And when you do a much deeper tie, this time it just happened to fall to the exact perfect place on my neck. But when you do a knot, you can pretty much control that anyway. So it's just tied right there on the absolute base of my neck, right underneath where my hairline is. And what I'm going to do, this is one of my favorite types of ways of tying them, because you can get so much beauty out of it, and it's just one scarf. So they're very uneven, because that's just how this cookie tends to crumble. Just bringing it up. So the good thing about these looks is that you can really just wing it, and it will always come out perfectly because it's a scarf and you just got to let creativity soar. When you're trying to get out the door and you're trying to, you know, go somewhere, you don't need to sacrifice anything of your look. You just need to trust the process, I think. And of course, experience gives confidence. So all I've done is I've just poofed it up underneath that arch. I've got lots of fabric I'm playing with, so I can poof it up as much or as little as I like, and I can show as much colour as well as I like. Let's bring some more green out. There we go. You make it as tall or as short as you like, and you can either leave a veil, which is really cute, or you can just gather it, give it a little twist, and tuck. Of course, you can have a high bun for this, and you'll get a slightly different volume beyond this little arch. Or with my hair the way it is, it doesn't really affect the shape of the tickle at all. So that's another look, and this is one of my favorites because how pretty is this? And it looks so hard to do, and it's actually completely effortless. At this point in the process, I'm sure I'm hearing somebody saying, yeah, sure, but that's a thick, colourful scarf. So here is my absolutely tried and tested, true and faithful, thin cotton sort of feeling. It's a viscose, but it kind of feels like a slippery cotton fabric, just folded in half. That's all it is, for just because otherwise it would be quite translucent. Not even perfectly in half, don't care, as I pointed out the first two. Just making sure I'm happy with how it's sitting. Gathering, and this is a really slippery scarf without a non-slip headband. But I'm determined to make a good video for you guys and show that you just don't need that stuff always. Of course, for certain looks you do, but you can definitely achieve beautiful looks without it. So I'm just tying it down the back for this first one. Now this has a lot of generous fabric, so I'm just going to fold it in on itself. I find that with single scarf looks, sometimes less is more actually, surprisingly. I'm just going to bring this a little bit forward without hurting my ear, just for the sake of the look, and just crossing it over. I'll fix that in a moment, towards the side. And we're going to bring this one around and tuck it in on itself, and now spreading it out. Get all these beautiful folds. Okay. And what I was actually thinking is I would have a little bit more, but even with the shorter tail, you can just easily fold it into here. It would be a little bit easier if I had a little bit longer, but it doesn't really matter. Just gotta trust the process, remember? And you get this really beautiful side fan. I've done a very rubbish job of wrapping it around, so we'll have to do a little bit of fixing at the back, but that's okay. Easily done. There we go. How cute is that? So simple. You can just sort of move it a little bit so it sits more snug on the head. So simple, so pretty, and you get all these gorgeous folds through the scarf. The pattern and the colour speak completely for themselves, and you still get this amazing point of interest that looks super complicated, super technical, but of course it wasn't. It was so easy to do. Most of these scarves take 2-3 minutes to tie, if they're not being annoying. And yeah, not moving anywhere, it doesn't hurt, it's not pressing on anything. It's a really soft fabric, really comfy fabric, and a breathable fabric too, so not hot on a hot day. And the colour is just so versatile. I love the scarf. I think everybody should have one bright scarf that's super versatile, and just works with anything. And this I think is my go-to for a lot of reasons. So pretty. So back to that first part of tying this scarf. Again, pretty uneven. Exactly the same way it was folded before. But this time I'm just going to gather it at the base of the neck and kind of fold it up a little bit. By that I mean, so the edges here, the open edge, I'm just bringing that as close to my ears as I can, rather than letting that hang and just pulling it, you know, as a gathered. So if you just pull it, it'll just gather like a tea towel. But if you kind of fold it in and pull up the actual base, you'll get the stitched part against your skin. Okay, now we're going to gather it, now that the stitch part's where I want it, and then we're going to a good grip, and we're going to bring it up just for something different. Oops. Now this scarf has a lot of fabric, so I'm just going to tie it this way. There we go, actually worked really successfully. I've got this beautiful tie straight away, so by pulling it under and through, I managed to get this bit to be the top part, and that meant that this tail was going to come out the side, which is exactly perfect. I'm just going to give it a bit of a twist just to start with, just to get a bit of control on the fabric. I find that twisting sometimes isn't even a design feature, it's just a mechanical feature. Okay, I'm going to bring that around. You can always fan it out again, and I've just got enough to tuck it away somewhere in here under the fan. Tuck it away, go away. Okay, that'll go in on itself just to neaten it up. And this is actually a good example of what I did before when I was neatening up the scarf. All I do is just tuck it in on itself, and it makes it all nice and neat. Now we have a bit of a mess. So what I'm going to do, when I have these little fan things, I always like to take a little bit of time, not too much time, but a little bit of time, just to arrange it in a really pretty way, because you are fully in charge here. And I'm just going to fold that open edge in on itself because I don't think it looks very nice. So I've got this little veil going on, and you can probably even keep it as a veil. It's quite pretty. I'd probably just pin it somewhere just to make sure the veil stays where it should. Or you can take it, twist it, and tuck it underneath. Voila! You can always pull on it a little bit to get a bit prettier fan. Oh, love this. Look at that. Such a complicated look, and look at how much that twist added to it, and even though we only did it because it was just all over the shop. How cool is that? You can always fix the little tucking away business and, you know, make it more localized, not a problem. You can always move it around. Once it's under there, you can shift it wherever you like. I'm just going to leave it as is because it's comfy. I think it looks really great. Again, a loud pattern, although a very repetitive pattern and a very easy to wear pattern, but it's a statement nonetheless, and it's got these really pretty colours that seem like they're a lot, but really, are they? They're quite neutral colours, even though they're bright, so that's really cool. Just works. You know, and this won't work for everyone. It's probably a complexion thing. Maybe somebody's colour that goes with everything is olive green or mustard yellow or some sort of shade of tan. I can't wear tan confidently because I feel like it just washes me out. Creams for somebody maybe. It's got to be the signature colour for every person. I love this sort of shades of aubergines and purples and navies, but they're quite dark typically, so having a complementing tone is very wearable for me. So everybody should discover what feels the best on them. And you know, don't let anyone ever tell you that it's the wrong colour. If it feels good, if the colour feels like it represents you and makes you feel good about wearing it, just wear the colour, wear the scarf. This is purely to make a point. I've got an absolute plain colour, very common fabric scarf, very easy again to find such things. I'm just going to fold it in underneath. And by this point, this back edge is sitting on the base of my neck. It's going to make a little hammock. This way, it causes the front to fall into the tails. See how it's just folded in on the sides like that? And I'm just going to give it a big fat knot, just like that. It can be on the side, it can be in the middle, whatever. I can always move it later as well. So then I'm going to find, it's a bit hard to tighten actually, So you just hold onto the knot to tighten it. So finding the little loop, and there's lots you can do with this. I'm just going to pull it all the way through. You could create more loops for sure. That's just to bring down the loop. Oh, so cool. All right. Okay, so I've got this bit hanging out. I'm just going to go get it out of the way. I'm going to concentrate on this bit that's, if I pull on it, will shorten this. And it's kind of coming out of an awkward place, and this will inevitably happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pull on it too hard because I don't want to shorten anything. I'm just going to very gently, but still sternly, bring it around as far as it'll go. Because remember, we never measure anything. Not never. For this particular video, we're not. I'm just tucking it away. But just making sure it's nice and spread out, because you don't want any, fat sticking out bits anywhere. Those look like you've got bumps on your head. Don't want that. Okay, so tucked away, and we haven't lost anything of here, but we can always pull on it if we have, and fan it again. Okay, speaking of fans, because this is a single colour, no fabric, no pattern, no texture type thing, I'm going to be pretty particular about how I fold this very featured part of the scarf. So I just folded it in on itself, so I don't get any seams, and flip it back. I'm going to sort of concentrate on bringing it more to this side so that it's nice and even through the back without showing any seams. There we go. So right now I've got like a little loop waterfall to one side, and you can totally leave it this way. Don't see any issue with that. I'm just going to give it one single twist, and you can tuck it, or what I'm going to do is actually, without untwisting it, bring it back a little bit before I tuck it, so that I end up tucking it down the back without actually losing my pattern. So you've got this, still got that kind of waterfall thing going on. Okay, now we're working on this. Remember I said how you can move it to the middle if you want, for example. Hopefully, unlike mine, yours doesn't fall out. Let's just put it back in there. Get back in there. Okay. And you can most certainly fix things up so they sit the way you want them to, and frame your face the way you want them to. And voila. Such a cool look. Single scarf. I would even wear something like this to a function. It's so pretty. For a function, I would probably put a non-slip headband, again, as I mentioned, because my hair is really slippery at the moment. I've been putting a lot of treatments through it to try and get my hair to be a little bit more healthy, and I think it's just affecting the way scarves sit, but it's not moving anywhere. It would be just for my own self-confidence to make sure the scarf wouldn't go anywhere, but it's quite snug considering how much I've moved it and tucked it and untucked it. So this is the fifth, and we'll probably leave it there for tonight, final single scarf look. We've looked at thick fabric, thin fabric, plain fabric, patterns, colours, and finally not much going on at all, but still a fun colour. And again, you could do this with black, you could do this with white, tan, terracotta, any colour at all. I just kind of gravitate towards colours that work really nice with my deep aubergine jumper. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I certainly love making these Tichel tutorials. I hope you enjoy watching them. Let me know in the comments what your favorite single scarf situation is. Do you have a favorite that you always go for? Is it colored? Is it patterned? Is it thick? Is it thin? Or do you like to mix it up as much as I do and just do something different every day and keep it always fresh and always new and always creative and individual? For more Tichel videos, do definitely subscribe. We also talk about eyes, we also talk about health and all things of my crazy world on this channel. But for more things in my crazy world and seeing really cute images of my dogs and all the things that I do, definitely head over to Instagram. Lots going on there, and lots of fun seeing all the things in my truly, truly crazy world. Wherever you are around the world, my lovelies, I hope you're doing really, really well. You're looking after yourselves, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.